Hey guys, welcome back to another What's Cooking video. Today I'm making meatloaf for dinner. Alright guys, so first things first, I'm going to dice up 1/2 of a large onion along with 1 scallion and then set it to the side. I plan to use this meatloaf for a meal prep for my family. If you've never done that, meatloaf keeps very well and it tastes super yummy days later after making it. Now, instead of using breadcrumbs, I like to use bread for my meatloaf. So I'm using these 3 burger buns that I have sitting around the house. I'm not using the crust, I'm just scooping out the middle and I'm gonna break those up into little pieces. If I didn't have these buns, I would just use 4 to 5 slices of bread without the crust. Then I'm just gonna add in 1.5 cups of milk and allow the bread to soak that up. So guys, I don't purchase my meat from the supermarket. If it's not butcher box, there's a couple other farms that I use because the quality of the meat, it's just way better. So I'm using 2 pounds of ground beef and then I'm gonna add in the onions that I diced up earlier along with the scallions. I'm also gonna add in some thyme, just a couple sprigs of thyme because it really gives the meatloaf a delicious flavor. And I'm also going to add in 2 cloves of crushed garlic. Now let's season this meatloaf to taste. I'm going to use some Italian seasoning. I'm also going to use garlic powder, Old Bay, onion powder, adobo, paprika, parsley, salt, and pepper. Now I'm just going to combine everything that I've added into the meatloaf, and then I'm also going to add in 1 beaten egg. Once I've added the egg, I'm just going to knead it into the meatloaf. And then I'm going to add in the bread that's been soaking in the milk. So guys, I'm not going to add the milk to the meatloaf mixture. I'm just going to gently squeeze the bread and add that into the meatloaf. Some of the milk will end up going into the meatloaf. You're just not going to toss the leftover milk into the meatloaf. So guys, I'm just gonna knead this up enough to get everything incorporated, but being super careful not to over knead it because we don't want hard meatloaf. Lastly, I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and gently knead that in. So guys, like I said earlier, I plan to do a meal prep with this meatloaf. I tend to gravitate to ground beef a lot when doing my meal preps because there's so many different recipes that you can make with it. Not to mention it keeps so well. You can freeze it, thaw it out, and it tastes the same. So this recipe is always in rotation at my house. So now I have my loaf pan that I'm just going to grease with some cooking spray just to ensure that my meatloaf will not stick to the bottom or the sides. And then I'm going to add in my meatloaf mixture. I've added all the meatloaf into my baking dish. Now I'm going to make the sauce that goes on top. 1/2 cup ketchup, 1 teaspoon yellow mustard, and 2 tablespoons brown sugar. Then I'm just going to mix everything together. So guys, the sauce for the meatloaf is everything. It will make or break your meatloaf. Simplicity is the best. I've seen all different sauces on top of meatloaf, but trust me, this combination is by far the best. Now I'm going to add my meatloaf to a 350-degree oven and allow it to cook for 1 hour or until the juices run clear. There you have it, a delicious meatloaf, perfect to make any day of the week. I've drained all the oil and juices from the meatloaf, and I'm just gonna allow it to sit before I slice it up to do my meal prep. You can eat your meatloaf however you'd like. You can make it as a sandwich. It's so good with rice. You can pair it with mashed potatoes. You can eat it by itself, anything you'd like. This is just a delicious meal all the way around. This is what I'm working with the meal preps, and this will last us a few days until the next meal prep. Guys, thanks again so much for taking the time to watch another one of my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.